Okay, we're now broadcasting live. Today is March 9th. My name is Brad Gardner. I'm presiding over the preliminary hearing calendar. I am going to call the calendar, and I think I noted the places where Mr. Tolles, the persons that he was representing, but if I make a mistake, Ms. Freeman or Ms. Mary, please correct me. Position 1 is State of Georgia versus Ali Abdullah Al-Shabazz, and that is one of Mr. Tolles' clients.
That's correct. The state's ready.
Okay. And let's see, position number 5 is State of Georgia versus William Arnold.
The state's ready.
That'll be a hearing, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pleasant. Position number 9 is State of Georgia versus Jamal Brandt.
State's ready.
I have R. Ben Shadida Afulola.
Attorney Ben Shida.
Yes.
Okay.
I do not.
I don't see him on. Right. He used to work in the district attorney's office for a period of time, so I know him. But yeah, I don't see him on the. I don't see him on the call.
Okay, Miss Mary, would you try to effort to reach out to Mr. Ben Shida?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Position number 16 is Keon Calhoun.
State's ready.
Your Honor, good morning. Brandon Lewis has that case.
Okay. Have you been in contact with Mr. Lewis?
I have not, Your Honor.
Sent the link, Judge.
I'm sorry?
He was sent the link and the calendar.
Okay. So if Mr. Lewis is on a case, it's a conflict. Who's the person that is the co-defendant in this case? Do we know?
Yes, Judge. We have. There are several.
Okay.
Yeah. Ming Schrader's Ming. I think he's represented by the public defender's office. I think Ms. Pleasant has that case.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Ms. Mayor, would you add Mr. Lewis to the list of persons that we are going to reach out to?
Okay.
Thank you. And position 23, I sent signed waivers out, I think, for this case, Brandt Clark. I think they were presented to me yesterday afternoon by Ms. Davis.
That's correct, Your Honor. That was a consent bond.
Okay. Position number 27, Corey Cozy.
What's the defendant's name, Judge?
Last name is Colzie. Criminal damage property in the second degree.
Okay, I don't have that one on my calendar. So if we could hold, yeah, I don't have that one, Judge.
Okay, this person may have bonded out. So we'll check on that.
What was the first name, Judge?
Corey, Corey.
Okay.
And the warrant number is 2020 CW 51838.
Okay.
Okay, position 28, Gregory Cosby.
He's out on bond.
Okay. Position 29 is Shamil Crowder.
The state's ready. That's a co-defendant to Christopher Desjardins. And Crowder is represented by Matt Tucker, and I sent him the link this morning.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Mary, would you put that on the list of attorneys we're trying to reach out for? Mr. Christopher DeJarnette, Mr. Jones.
Yes, good morning. I'm here, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir.
Awesome. We're ready.
Okay, so this is going to be a hearing?
Yes.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Jones, do you have any other appearances, places you need to be today?
Thankfully not.
You're a lucky man. Okay. So I was just asking that question because if you need to be somewhere, I would prioritize you. But
Well,
right
I
now,
don't have another hearing, but I do have my daughter's doctor's appointment, but that's at 11 o'clock, but it's not another hearing.
okay. All right. So we're gonna vacillate you between number one, number two right now. Miss Pleasant, I think, is number one, and I'll see if she's willing to give up that chair spot.
Well, Judge, before we do Attorney Jones's hearing, I want to have Matt Tucker on because we two together, they're co-defendants.
They're co-defendants.
Mhm. Crowder and DeJarnette, those are co-defendants.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So, Mr. Jones, you're sinking to the bottom.
All right, I'll
now.
stand by.
I'm sorry. Unless you know Mr. Tucker, you can get him on. Let's see.
And Judge, I see Mr. Joyner just appeared. I'm not sure what case he's on.
Let's see, Mr. Joyner. Okay, Mr. Joyner, can you hear us and respond? You're muted, sir. You're muted, sir. You have to unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
All right, is that better?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry about that. I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry. Could you repeat?
Oh,
it,
the
please?
question is, what case are you here on?
Whittle, Widdle.
Okay, and are you an officer?
Yes, detective with the City of Atlanta Police Department.
Okay. What I'm going to do, Mr. Joyner, is you can mute yourself and you can turn off your audio. I'm sorry, turn off your camera, and we'll get to your case in a moment.
Well, Judge, I'm trying to see what case Detective Joyner is on because I haven't asked that you be sent a link right now. So I'm not sure why you're on right now.
Well, when I left my subpoena at the office, and when I came down I'm at the Clayton County Courthouse, and they sent me a link to the Zoom meeting. I was trying to figure out what courtroom. I had never done the virtual court before. So I was trying to figure out which courtroom I was in, and they said it was going to be virtual for magistrate court. So
You said Waddle?
Whittle, Widdle, should be for trafficking marijuana.
I don't even have that one on.
I don't have that on.
I don't have, that's what I said. I don't think.
Let me see if I can pull up my subpoena. I'll go ahead, turn off my camera and mute, and when I get it, I'll come back on if that's all right.
Okay. But I don't see you on the calendar. So it may be a case either that has been resolved, meaning the person has been there's a consent bond, or there's a different date. But look into it, sir, and just feel free to come back on and let us know when you have that information.
What's the full name before you leave, sir?
I'm sorry, say again.
What's the full name of the defendant?
I believe it was Greg Whittle. I'm about to pull out my computer and look it up now. And when I get back on, I'll have more information for you.
You're on.
Yes, Miss Hill.
Yes, I wanted to come back to Corey Coles. I looked that up. He was one of my clients, but he was actually down over to his case on misdemeanor calendar.
I'm sorry.
His case was placed on the misdemeanor calendar. It was so he was placed on the misdemeanor calendar for Corey Colsey.
Mr. Whittle?
No, she's on a cozy judge. That's why it's on a misdemeanor calendar.
Okay.
Okay, so, Attorney Hill, you're saying that, Corey Cozy should be on misdemeanor? That's a
Yes, it was moved to a misdemeanor calendar, given, it should have been a criminal trespass. I'm going back looking at my emails.
All right.
Okay.
Right. Mhm.
Miss Hill, you're slow on the draw. I thought you were talking about this matter we're dealing with Officer Joyner.
No, I'm sorry. I saw it just as you guys started talking to him, so I didn't want to interrupt.
No, Miss Hill, you are an officer of the court. You have every right to speak. So just feel free to jump in so we can get things resolved.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so we're gonna pause on Officer Joyner with Mr. Whittle. The next person I have is Raymond Franklin.
The state's ready, and that is a co-defendant to Jalen Freeman, Keon Calhoun, Mr. Mean. But so the state is ready. I'm not sure who's representing Mr. Franklin.
Bill Matos. Bill Matos had that case.
Bill
We know Mr.
Montes.
Matos is on leave. Mhm.
So let me ask a question. My understanding of the whole thing of being on leave is you file a leave and the judge has 10 days to object. Do we have a leave filed by Mr. Montos? Miss Mary, do we have a leave filed by Mr. Montos?
No. No, I just happened to find out when I talked to Carlin Stahl yesterday that he was on leave. I'd called her about another matter, but I did not have a leave notice for him, sir.
So, Ms. Freeman, I'm gonna ask you this question because you're the only person that I can ask. If a lawyer doesn't file a leave, it's a lawyer on leave. I'm asking because I don't. How I was taught.
I will say this because I typically a lot of times I don't get a copy of the leaves that are filed, but attorneys will email me to let me know or call me that they're on leave. And so
that may be a conversation that we have to have a call.
Yeah, because I would, like I said, I would say they're on leave. but I understand the court's position with that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I know.
That'll be, Miss Mayor, would you please put that on the list of things to address with Ms. Gall? That if an attorney goes on leave, and I understand I mean, it's not as short of a turnaround now as it used to be. Now approximately 6 weeks before a person, they have first appearance and they have preliminary hearing. I understand it can be a problem, but at the same time, you can't just have people sitting in jail and their matters not being heard. Because we have an officer that is being held up, and they could be out helping the public. Okay, all right, we're gonna move past it. We're gonna move past it. But Ms. Mayor, please remind me of that because I want to have that addressed. Position number 42, Jalen Freeman. This is one of Mr. Toll's cases.
Schoolcraft. That's one of the Stanley Schoolcraft, and that's the co-defendant to Franklin, to some of the other ones.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Have Mr. Harris for DeAndre Green.
The state's ready.
We're ready, Your Honor. I can say that I have maybe 3 different conflicts over here in Fayette County that start around 9 o'clock that if it needs to be heard at a later point, it would be appreciated if I could make announcements on those cases to try to resolve them in the meantime. However, we're ready to proceed now if the court's inclined to as well.
Okay, and Mr. Harris, you're saying those matters that you have to get resolved, they're in Fayette County?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Harris, you can resolve those matters and log back on because it looks like we have a big calendar today. So do you anticipate that's going to be a hearing?
Yes, Your Honor. I've already engaged in discussions with Ms. Freeman this morning, and it looks like it'll be a hearing.
Okay. So you can resolve your matters in Fayette County, and we'll just put you down as having the hearing.
Would you like to designate a specific time to be back? I have a 1 o'clock conflict in Roswell this afternoon, which, so long as I'm asked to be back here before then, that'll solve any conflict issues they may have if I have to contact the court there.
Well, I guarantee it won't be 1 o'clock that we're holding your hearing. But right now, I have at least one matter that's going to be for you. And it's 9:10 right now. So
are you back by 10:30?
Yes, sir, if you can.
All right, will do, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Joyner.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to get the information needed?
Yes, sir. It was on Dominic Whidden, Widden, for trafficking marijuana.
That's not on the calendar.
It's not on the calendar, sir.
Right, he's out on bond.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So with Ms. Freeman making an announcement that he's out on bond, his case is going to be bound over to the Superior Court of Clayton County. So you're free to go, Mr. Joyner.
Thank you very much. I apologize for the inconvenience.
No problem.
Have a good one.
Same to you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Position number 52, Derek Griffin.
Thanks, ready.
Good morning. That'll be a hearing, Your Honor.
Okay. Position number 53, Mikhail Harris.
Judge, this is a case, let me see, because it looks like I have more than one officer. I just want to, yes, so there are two different cases involved, it looks like, and I'm ready on half of the case, and then the other case with the officer Vives, V-I-V-E-S, the officer is on training.
Okay. Do we have an announcement from the defense?
Yes, sir. It's going to be a hearing.
Good morning, Mr. Rogers.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I promised myself I'm not gonna give you a hard time today.
I'm a big boy. I can take
it. Okay, so I hear from Ms. Freeman that she is ready on the 2021 warrants and the 2022 WAAs. There is a problem with the officer being in training.
That's correct, Judge.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna mark hearing for the three other charges from 2021, and we'll address any issues you may have, Mr. Rogers, when we get to that case.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, position number 60, Demisio Hernandez.
Judge, we would ask that that case be rescheduled. That officer is actually out of the country until March 21st.
Judge, I'm gonna move to dismiss. I understand this is I think this is the third time that this case has been continued, all related to the officer's unavailability. The first, I think, couple of times it seemed like it may have been an emergency or kind of a late breaking situation. But now here we are a third time. Additionally, we're doing it via Zoom. So I think they have Zoom in other countries unless she's in Russia or something like that, maybe right now. So for those reasons, John, I would ask to dismiss for lack of probable cause.
We're going to address that, Mr. Rogers, and I'm going to walk back my statement of not giving you a hard time today. I'm the only person making jokes here. But Ms. Freeman, Ms. Rogers has a valid point of officer internet connection.
Well, Judge, only thing we can do is, and I know magistrate court is supposed to send the subpoenas out. We try to communicate with the officers as a courtesy to tell them about the hearings, and we get the information whether or not they're going to be available or not. And this particular officer did indicate that she was out of the country from March 8th through March 21st. And so I don't know if that's on a vacation or not, but I just know she indicated she's out of the country. And so, Judge, and I would say if I had to be out of the country, I'm not taking my work information from work, to another country to try to do a hearing. I don't know if this person is on vacation, but that's the information we've received. And I will say the case was continued once before at the state's request. The first time it was continued, it says to grant attorney's request for a continuance. And so that seems to have been on the defense, possibly. I'm not sure, but this is not the state's first time requesting a continuance, and this would be the third time total continuance. So that's the only thing I really have, Judge. If Your Honor decides to dismiss it, I certainly understand, because it will be the third time, but that only announcement I can make is that the officer is not available.
And yeah, just to clarify, because I'm not sure if Ms. Freeman was here both times. I know, so that's why I'm not sure what she saw. I think the first time it was, to my recollection, I think there was an issue with with the officer's child. Like I said, it was like kind of a late breaking situation. So I kind of understood that. Next time, I think there was like some sort of medical appointment shortly after that. So it seemed like it, it could reasonably be related to that. But here we are a third time. And as far as the choices that Ms. Freeman was saying that she would make, that's all well and good, but choices have consequences. That's why we're here today, is because choices have consequences. So I don't know if you can just make a choice to go and kick in or take a vacation and assume that the world and everything else is going to stop for you.
No, I understand both sides of the argument, and I'm going to hold this to the end so I can weigh it, because these are serious charges. But being held in custody is also a serious thing. So I'm going to hold this to the end so both sides can make their arguments. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Ms. Rogers.
I was just saying, thank you.
Okay. Let's see, position number 65, Jalick Jenkins.
The state's ready. That's a co-defendant to Jalen Freeman, Keon Calhoun, and Raymond Franklin.
Okay.
The attorney on that case, Your Honor, is Olumide Olaloy. I think that's the name. Olumide Olaloy. I think that's how it's pronounced. The last name is Olaloye. That's the attorney that was assigned.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, Ms. Davis. Because on these cases that I'm being told are co-defendants, I have Mr. Kraft listed on my calendar as the attorney of record. How are these cases not getting, I guess, assigned appropriately, or the feedback?
So what normally happens, Your Honor, is that whenever we get the calendar from Ms. Freeman and we realize that they're co-defendants, our office we do a conflict, which we have an office downtown that Ms. Call is in charge of. So we use JCATs to know who is assigned to what case. So that attorney normally gets I don't know if the office is supposed to tell them who they're assigned to. That's what normally happens. So I go to JCATs and I can see what attorney is on that case.
Okay.
So Ms. Call is actually in charge of that office. I don't know if she's the one that tells them when they have court. When we do the conflict forms, we tell them when the court date is, and they should have that information based on the form when they're assigned. So for them to know when they're on the calendar, I don't know how that's done.
Let me ask you this question. My understanding of the state bar rules is that when you either are hired on a case, you're assigned on a case, you're supposed to do an entry of appearance.
That's correct.
And apparently that is not happening.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know. I don't know why the attorneys are not doing that. They should.
Well, it may have to start levying fines if they don't file an entry of appearance by the time the case is assigned. Because theoretically, this fits within the category where you can hold someone summarily in contempt of court because they're obstructing the proceedings. By not filing entry appearance and not appearing, these matters don't go forward. And I don't need any other additional information. Maybe we need to start having, like, Friday night jail. You turn yourself in Friday night, you get out Saturday morning. And maybe that'll speed up the process of filing an entry.
I don't know if they are being made aware that they have court, Judge, or if they are being made aware that they're assigned a case. That's something I couldn't answer. I don't know. But I know that our office is told who is on the case. So I'm not sure about that, Your Honor. I don't know.
Theoretically,
um,
you're saying that there's a determination that Brad Gardner is assigned to this case, but Brad Gardner doesn't know that Brad Gardner is assigned to this case.
That they should know. I don't know if they're being told, Judge. I can't tell you that they're being told. I don't know. Because based on what I'm seeing today, I'm not sure if they know. Because I think there was an issue with Attorney Schoolcraft that he didn't know that he was assigned a case. So I'm not sure, Your Honor. That's something our conflict office, they have to take up with our conflict office or Ms. Gall. So I don't know, Judge.
I mean, let's carry this out. And I'm sorry for interrupting this, but I think this needs to be approached. Is there a problem with the person getting paid? I mean, do they know they're not getting a paycheck? I mean, is it? Oh, yeah, I'm signed. But I'm not getting paid for this.
I don't know.
I'm just and thank you.
Our office just because our office only can tell you like who is the case is assigned to. In regards to the conflict office, that's something they're gonna have to take up with Ms. Call. So I don't know, Judge.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Davis. Let's pause for a second, Mr.
Welcome.
Tucker.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
You may be a perfect person that can answer the burning question of the day. You've been assigned to a conflict case.
But Judge, Attorney Tucker, he's probably retained.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr.
Right.
Crowder.
Right. Attorney Tucker, I don't think is part of the conflict defenders. He's been retained.
Okay. Well, I apologize, Mr. Tucker.
I'm always ready to answer any questions for the court.
Well, thank you, sir. Your client, Mr. Crowder, is that going to be a hearing or?
If I could have a brief breakout room with him, after speaking with him, speaking with Ms. Freeman and Mr. Hawkins earlier before this case, I just want a moment to speak with my client and then briefly speak with Ms. Freeman, and I can answer that question a little bit better.
Okay. So we have a big calendar today. I'm getting close to the end. When I create the breakout rooms, I'll place you in a room where you can have contact with your client, but we still don't have the jail. And they're apparently having some technical difficulties. So just hold tight.
I will, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Position number 72, Alexis Johnson.
Judge, that officer, Detective Rosas, is in training that started March 7th and ends on March 11th.
Your Honor, that is my case, and that is a co-defendant case as well. Paris Williams. I need to speak with her before I make an announcement.
Okay.
And Judge, it's my understanding, just going back to the Hernandez case, I did get information from my legal assistant that that officer on Hernandez had death in the family, and that is why she is out of the country. I just got that information.
Okay. All right, I made a note of that. All right, position 75, Joseph Lamb.
Judge, in this case has, it looks like 2 different officers, and both of these officers are in training. And so we would ask that it be rescheduled. I don't know if it's the same training, but they're both in training.
Okay. And that's your case, Ms. Herring?
Yes, Your Honor. There's no objection to the continuance, but I think me and Ms. Freeman may be able to work something out on this.
Okay.
Thanks.
So I'll hold to wait for a report after you and Ms. Freeman had an opportunity to speak about this.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Position 82, Harris McHale.
Judge, that case, that is a misdemeanor. The one that's, you called that case earlier. That was the one that's, I said I had only one of the officers, the other officers in training. And so for whatever reason, they put this misdemeanor also on the calendar. And I'd already let your judicial assistant know to remove that one.
So this theft by taking is a misdemeanor?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Lister and Holt and Mr. Kraft listed as attorneys for this one charge. Okay.
I'll move it to a misdemeanor calendar.
Thank you, Miss Mary. And I'm sorry, I make notes so I could keep all this stuff in my head. Position 83. Okay, and then I'm gonna mess this up, but I think it's Jerry Samir Ming Schraders.
Judge, the state's ready. That's a co-defendant to some of the other ones we've talked about, Jalen Freeman, Raymond Franklin, and some others.
Okay.
I'll be hearing, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Pleasant. And Miss Pleasant, would you do me a favor and help me keep this straight? Because it appears that there is a number of defendants all charged.
Yes.
And we don't have everybody present. And so I'm going to have to wrap my brain around the people who are not present and people who are present so that we can have this done in an orderly fashion.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. 'Cause you didn't get to speak on Monday, Miss Pleasant. You were just robbing, just taking money. Just sitting there.
I worked ahead, Judge. That's what happened.
As my mother would say, you work smarter, not harder.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Preston Mitchell. Is
that was a fast
one
track.
Mr. Tolles?
No, that was a fast track.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I had it scratched out on my calendar. Nikki Pennington, position number 93.
Judge, that was a drug court waiver.
Okay. Thank you. And the waiver's already been signed?
Ms. Davis, I think, I can't remember if Ms. Davis sent that one this morning. I forwarded to them this morning.
No, it's not sent yet.
Okay, you said you haven't sent it, Ms. Davis?
Not yet, Your Honor, not yet.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I just, because of the email issues, I just want to make certain that something doesn't fall through the cracks. Well,
good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Guys are taking a break over there at the jail. What's going on?
We're having issues with the internet, but I had to troubleshoot myself instead of waiting for IT, and I finally got it right. So we are on right now. And I do have image, the holding cell.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for your persistence in getting on to the camera. We're finishing up the call of the calendar. And we'll go back, and there are some things that we probably can make available to you, but just as a being sort of as a time saver, try to just do what we can do. Position number
right,
one. Okay. Position number 100, is it Danape Render?
Your Honor, that officer is in training. And so if we can't get it resolved, we would ask that it be rescheduled.
Okay.
Your Honor, I need to retry that with Mr. Render. So I guess I'll have to join a breakout room with the jail. Looks like they're on now.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gupta. So you're going to meet with your client and you're going to speak with Ms. Freeman.
Yes.
Okay. Position 102, Frederick Robinson.
Judge, the state's ready. That's one of Mr. Toll's cases, and that's a co-defendant to that Scrader Mean, Jalen Freeman, Keon Calhoun, Jalen Jenkins, and yes, that group.
Okay. At this point, I'm just writing in my notes, co-defendant to Freeman et al.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, position 110, Kenneth Shields.
State's ready.
That will be a consent bond, Your Honor.
Okay. Position 111, Christopher Smith is a misdemeanor. He's charged with misdemeanor battery.
Right, I don't even have that case on my calendar.
Okay. If Christopher Smith is at the jail, he should be returned back to his location, and Miss Mary, this should be placed on a misdemeanor calendar. Yeah, thank you. Okay, position number 112, James Spellman.
That's one of Mr. Toll's cases, and that officer is on training.
Okay. Position number 115, Ashley Stewart.
Judge, that's a murder case that was already indicted.
Okay. When was it indicted?
Indicted in January 10th of 2022.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Position number 119, Zenobia Vasquez. And I don't see a listing for a lawyer.
And I don't have a Vasquez on my calendar.
This is the charge as it's listed on my calendar. It looks like entering the dwelling of another without authority with intent of felony.
I don't have that. What's, you said, what is the defendant's name, Judge?
Last name is Vasquez. First name is Zenobia. The warrant number is 2021 CW 546.
She's out on bond. She's out on bond. Mhm.
Okay. That just sound like a burglary. Position number 120, Corey Williams.
Judge, that officer is on annual leave through March 11th.
That one is a fast track, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's going to be a fast track, Mr. Gupta?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Finally, Paris Williams.
And Judge, that was a co-defendant to Alexis Johnson. That officer is in training.
Okay.
And that's actually, Paris Williams is represented by Stanley Schoolcraft.
Okay. Okay. So that completes the call of my calendar. Does anyone have anything that they believe should have been called that wasn't called? Okay, Mr. Rogers. I'm trying to flip back to the case. But with the announcement that the officer had a death in the family and that's why the officer can't be present, I'm inclined to continue that matter. Then of course you're free to try to change my mind, but just let me know.
Well, yeah, I certainly will. Then I understand it's a death, and I appreciate that and I respect that. Again, with that being said, the state has had other options along the way. They still have had the option of accusing, indicting. This is not the only way that they can prosecute a person. They could have brought this to the court's attention before it was a motion before the court. As it stands at this point, I still think that the law still stands that they need evidence to justify continuing to hold somebody. They currently don't have that evidence. As a result, it all remains the same, that they lack what they need to go forward today, and for that reason, it should still be dismissed for warrant of prosecution. This is not the first time. It's not the second time. It's the third time. Nobody's giving our clients 3 chances like that. When the police pull them over, they're not like, oh, okay, well, this is just the first time we caught you with a kilo of cocaine. We're going to let it ride. It doesn't work like that. And so for all those reasons, unless we're going to start doing it like that in the streets, I don't see why we should start doing it like that in the courts. So for all those reasons, John, I would ask that it be dismissed for warrant of prosecution.
Ms. Freeman?
Judge, I've given the court the reason why the officer isn't available. She's out of the country. She's had death in the family. That's all the information I can provide. And so regardless of how many times the case has been continued, that is, the officer's unavailable. And so we would reschedule. And if Your Honor decides to dismiss the case, I certainly, we have to respect that, and we'll move forward on whatever else we need to do. But given the information that I have, I'm asking that it be rescheduled.
Okay, well, with the information that's been provided to me that the officer has a death in the family, I'm not inclined to grant or to dismiss the case. I was leaning on the side of dismissing it. But you know, I can't. I mean, it's people.
And
Your
when you set up the breakout rooms, you know, you can put us in a breakout room. We may be able to work out a bond, possibly, given that the defendant has been in. I'm certainly willing to do that.
And you're still on YouTube, Judge.
Okay, let me